No, I think just disappointment after watching the tape. I felt like we had worked really, really hard to get back to a big game, and I just want to thank all the people that came out. The Grove was phenomenal. The home field advantage was great, and we worked really hard to get back to that point, having a big game in Oxford. And just disappointed that didn't turn out the way that we had all hoped. And I think just after watching the tape, little things and execution errors when you play the #1 team in the country, they show up bigger. And so I thought, execution, but that starts with me, and it's my job to put a team on the field that executes. But there are no shortcuts. The only thing you can do is get up off the mat, go back to work, and fix the problems, and that's what we plan on doing. We have a great opportunity this week to try to go 3-1 against a really good Kent State team, and that's what we're looking forward to doing.
All right, raise your hand if you have a question. We'll bring a microphone to you. Who wants to start us off?
Matt, it looked like when Jordan Tamu, I don't know if that was a quarterback draw, I don't remember now, he scrambled and got hit downfield, fumble. It didn't seem to be quite as sharp from that point.
Yeah, well, I think that anytime you're hit as a quarterback, it does affect you some. On the play you're talking about, it was a quarterback draw, and he was trying to make the safety miss, and he got hit from the side. He didn't see the guy coming, and it caused a turnover. But again, that's a credit to them. And when you play against a really good team, the little things really show up. Ball security, and those things really show up.
Hey, Matt, when you talk about execution, what can you guys do to offset quickness that maybe leads to some of those execution mistakes?
I think some of it is just confidence in going out there and executing over and over again, and a little bit extra, because the magic's not in the scheme. The magic is in the effort and the execution of it, and a lot of that is coaching and getting guys to react and see things and play the game. But again, ultimately, that's the coach's job to get the guys to go out there and execute, and that's what we have to do better.
Questions?
Coach, just kind of touch on again Montrell and any other injury updates.
Yeah, so Montrell Custis tore his ACL, and so that he's going to have surgery Thursday. So that will he won't be back. So that's a tough blow to the secondary. But Vernon Dasher will have to step in there, and Cam Morway as well, and they will. Ken Webster is hamstring, still out. He's probably questionable. Eric Sweeney's going to have to get back in shape, but he's probable for this week, so it'll be good to get Eric back in the rotation.
How's Tisdale doing?
Good. Yeah, he's fine.
Is he back to practicing?
He is. Yeah.
And then
he played in the game Saturday, and he played fine.
And then is with Custis, what do you have an idea of what the timeline is going to be and all that?
Yeah, so typically it's 6 to 8 months for an ACL.
And on top, sorry, with adjusting to his loss, rotationally, you're looking a little less depth there at the star. What adjustments do you guys have to make?
Yeah, so you have Dasher there, and you have Ordway, and you have Miles Hartsfield that can move in there from the corner position. But the problem is when when you're down Kim Webster and Jalen Jones, it gives you a little bit less. But Miles Hartsfield can go there if he needs to. But you have Dasher and Cam Ordway there now.
Questions?
Matt, you touched on Webster a little bit, but what is your view of the cornerbacks right now? I see on the depth chart it looks like any one of those four could go first.
No, they could. Right now, Jalen Julius and Javian Hamilton are starters, but Kedron is playing really well. Miles is having to do so many different things that he's in there giving guys reps, at dime, at corner, and then coming in some at star. So it's good to have a guy like that because he can back up a bunch of different positions. But I was really Very impressed with Kedron, as a true freshman coming in. He made some nice plays there, so I think he's getting better and better. So I just want to keep seeing that improvement.
Do you expect more snaps for Miles and Starr?
Yeah, it depends on how it's going with Vernon and Cam. But again, Miles is going to be playing corner, and then if we need him in an emergency, he could go into Starr.
3 games in, what's your thinking with Matt Corral? It seemed like maybe if you'd wanted to get him some reps Saturday night, would have been an opportunity to do that. He's played in 1 of the 3 with the red shirt rule and all of that.
Right. So you get 4, and so I think if we can find a way to get him playing in the game where it's where you're not just handing the ball off, but he's having to go through reads and making plays, then you want to use one of those 4 games to do that. But if you're going to go in there and hand it off, that's not the time to go in there and hand the football off. You want him to have to go through his reads and through his progressions and really go in there and get better. But Matt is the backup quarterback. He's one play away from playing all the time, and if the situation presents itself, he's going to be ready to go.
Offensively, did it basically come down when Bama made the adjustment, put 2 safeties back, sat them back? We were not able to run the ball consistently, and that just kind of bogged things down?
Yeah, you know what? But it wasn't. That happened on a couple of plays, but not every one. I think it was a combination. The biggest thing that I saw was they were able to get pressure on the quarterback. That was the difference. The batted balls, the pressure on the quarterback. We had a lot of plays where we had guys open, and their corners made some good plays. And our second play from scrimmage was very close to scoring as well. It's just, credit Alabama for getting pressure on the quarterback and playing good football. But the little things showed up, the steps that maybe didn't affect you in Texas Tech and Southern Illinois, or the set or the hand placement or the hat placement, the little things started showing up when you play against a really good football team. And so that's up for us to see that and make sure we go out there and correct it.
Follow up, what's the mindset of the team right now? Are they angry or sad or,
I think
doubting themselves?
No, I think any time that you're dealt a disappointing loss, the thing is, we've been here before. I mean, it's not how many times you get knocked down; it's how many times you can get back up, and the resiliency to get up off the mat and go prepare. This is one of our 12 opportunities, and we have an opportunity to be 3-1, and that's our intentions.
On the pressure on Jordan there, what was your take there on offensive line play, and was that again just about quickness, or was that technique or something that Alabama was doing?
I would say that again, credit Alabama a lot because they force some of those things with how they're playing, but to me it goes back to execution. I don't know if you want to say quickness, but it's little things. It's your hand placement, your hat placement, your sets. Everything needs to be on point and be really, really good when you're playing against a good team. So I think you give a lot of credit to Alabama for forcing those things to happen. But again, it's our job to go out there and fix it.
Coach, you've been saying you don't want this game to beat you twice. How do you prepare for that, and how do you make sure the game doesn't beat you twice?
Well, I mean, again, these kids are they will fight back. And they come out, and it's good to be around them on Sunday. We watch the tape, we put it behind us, and we move forward. And now the focus is on Kent State and going to find a way to win that game.
On the defensive side of the ball, it seems like you've mentioned focus as an issue for the past couple of days and execution for the past couple of weeks. Are you doing anything different this week in order to correct that?
No, I think just energy and focus and confidence in making a play. There was a play in the second half where Benito Jones made a play and it changed the sideline, and that is infectious. But so are the big plays, and so we have to find a way to capture that and bottle that up and make that who we are and make that our calling card. And I think that's what we'll be striving to get is more of those plays that erupt the sideline with the energy and the motion and the passion that you have to play winning football in this league.
Questions?
Coach, after the game, C.J. Moore kind of suggested he'd like to see things simplified some, that he felt like there's confusion on the defensive side of the ball. Do you Did you evaluate it that way, or?
Yeah, you know what, I think it's you have to be able to communicate and do your job, and I think that's a big part of it. But again, it all falls back to coaches being able to, when you go on the field, you have to be able to execute it. And I think that's our job. That's my job as a head coach, is to make sure that happens. And if you have to simplify, then you have to simplify. But when they walk out there, they have to know what's going on.